go, do you want to turn off the air conditioning in the other room, that noise?
I just took care of that.
Can you pick up that noise over there in the other room?
Yeah.
It's
Is that
really
better?
our journey to the viewers,
Okay.
and our journey to filmmakers, and our journey to curators, and our journey to viewers
Mhm.
of art that we're all about. And, so if we can bring that through, then we will achieve something indeed. Because Tim is not wanting to do just another documentary,
Right.
but really to give the viewer the ability to see how we're going.
If we can do that.
It's a tall order. It's a tall order.
We all
We're
believe that
challenging
we are going to do that.
Okay.
ourselves.
Yes.
We're getting a funky red thing.
Battery.
Yeah, it's because we're low on battery now. We've used up
Okay,
all the
well,
battery on that.
I did not.
And they talk and,
You know, we,
Tell me.
well, let's go on.
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We've got, I'm rolling, and I think we've got enough pre-roll time. I guess the first thing we want to talk about is, okay, this is New York. It's the center of the art world that A.B. was kind of shunned. Before he sort of went into his self-imposed exile. So why is he here?
He's here because he needs to be here. He needs to be part of the constellation of the New York artists that are exhibited as preeminent modernist and avant-garde contributors to their field. We deeply believe that Albert Bloch's contribution in this field needs to be acknowledged and celebrated as much as possible. And for us, the great marriage here is the fusion of the art historical show, the museum quality show, and the show that is also as deeply felt by all of us organizing it here. And this exhibition that highlights Albert Bloch's work is indeed the perfect vehicle for his reintroduction, shall we say, to the New York art gallery world.
This is, okay, the Hollis Taggart Gallery. It's kind of a hybrid gallery.
Hybrid in the sense that we encompass American art painting and we embrace all aspects of the experience, from mid-19th century Hudson River painting to about mid-century 20th century modernism and contemporary work as well, with just a little emphasis on the contemporary work.
Mm-hmm. Well, given what A.B. wrote about the painter's progress and what he did to shun galleries, don't you think this is kind of an odd place for him to be right now?
No, I think it's a wondrous place to be right now, because I think what you find in the most unexpected places is the great surprise. And we here in Hollis Taggart Galleries are garnering that reputation within the last 2 years of these extraordinary groundbreaking shows on modernism. And one of the things that we strongly emphasize in the quality of our scholarship is the introduction of, let's say, forgotten artists, artists that need to be reevaluated within the context, the greater context of modernism, and the underdog, shall we say. We ourselves have been known primarily as 19th century dealers of Impressionism or Ashcan, and here we come forth bursting with this exhibition on the color of modernism last May, which garnered strong reviews from the New York Times, a full page almost, dealing with our interest in exploring a little explored aspect of American modernism, which was, in a sense, the influence of Matisse on artists, American artists, and those that embraced it for maybe a short period of their lives or incorporated into the greater span of their artistic oeuvre. But again, it is in keeping with our need to bring to the limelight artists that we feel through extraordinary merit, but through vicissitude, have been largely forgotten by the, shall we say, the scholarly group of people that write the books.
Well, tell me how you came to know A.B.
All right, let's just backtrack to July of 1997. We had just closed the exhibition of The Color of Modernism, the American Folds, the influence of Matisse or the impact of Matisse on American modernists. And there we were thinking, oh my, our first major full-page review of the Times. We were lionized as, the gallery that produced one of the most important shows of the season, the spring season, which is an important season for us. And Stacy Epstein, my co-curator and art historian of the gallery, and I were just getting to know each other as she has just joined the gallery at this point. You know, obviously her strong interest in American modernism helped me have the fortitude to say, well, let's take on the other side of the coin. You know, we've explored France, we've explored Matisse, but at the same time, they were traveling to Germany to visit Kandinsky, to get to know what was going on. It had to be the other side of this philosophical coin, and it was a perfect show for us because it fused what we're passionate about: emotional strength to the quality of the work, spiritualism, color. We love color and all the permutations of what color can give. So we basically embarked on this extraordinary journey because it was Stacy and I putting this incredible effort together and going by certain things that we feel strongly, you know, certain philosophical tenets about what we should do with a show. And we said, could we do this? So we began deeply researching, and the want list became the want list in about a month's time, with Marston Hartley creating the first, shall we say, point of reference, and then researching. And our research, through Stacy's able efforts, it obviously took us to Albert Bloch. And that's where the extraordinary Albert Bloch experience begins. And Stacy basically is responsible for bringing that to the gallery and bringing it to me. And we have a lot of interesting anecdotes, you know, of this journey, because for us, the Albert Bloch experience was, in a sense, an encapsulation of what the whole experience of putting this show was about, and getting to know his extraordinary message was what we hoped we could give to the art viewing public in New York.
Some what?
Talk about
When I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you asked.
Well, we're very interested in hearing some of those anecdotes.
Well, when just to recap a little bit, when Vivian and I again were going through the list of artists that we would include in the show, you know, we knew Albert Bloch was going to be essential to our exhibition, and as we started to do research and I was looking through the books and seeing the images, it started to really come to a head, and it became clear that he would be the foundation, one along with Hartley, that Bloch and Hartley would be the real foundational artists of the show.
Without question.
Without
It was
question.
just immediate, and the excitement of the discovery was for us childlike. You know, when the first images started to arrive, we were in the back room just exploding with this, shall we
It was
say,
Christmas
discovery.
morning.
It was literally a discovery for us, because we were saying, who is this artist and why hasn't he been in New York? You know, it was all of that we had hoped for.
Did you ever? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you said it was Christmas morning.
Well,
Start with
to jump ahead a little bit, when we had everything selected and the show was planned, and the works would start to come in through the Nelson Atkins Museum and through some of the private lenders, every time a crate would come in, I mean, I know I felt like a little kid on Christmas morning, and I don't celebrate Christmas, but we'll say Hanukkah morning, and you know, I just couldn't wait to get the crates open and to see what was inside and to see all of these magnificent and magical works come to life.
Yes.
For me and for everybody here at the gallery was an incredible experience, and it was rewarding. It was as though all the hard work that had gone into planning this exhibition and getting all of these marvelous paintings together to be seen in their proper context was beginning to happen.
She's getting ahead of herself, because we have to start about the discovery of the first batch.
That's right.
Let's go back.
Yeah, back, yeah.
Start with the phrase, it was Christmas morning. Was it literally Christmas morning?
No, it was
No.
not literally
You
Christmas
meant
morning.
that
I meant it,
metaphorically.
that's right.
What the Christmas morning aspect is when you showed Hollis and me the first really full page of available slides for the show, because what I wanted to do is for Stacy to do enough groundwork, and which she did beautifully, I must admit. And the first time that Stacy showed me this slide collection, she asked me, which one of these would you like for the exhibition? I said, one, I'd like all of them. It was as if, again, the concept of everything that I had hoped for came together, because I was hoping that I would be able to showcase one special artist in the first floor gallery, as I had done for the Fauve exhibition, where I showcased the work of an American expatriate named Anna Stell Rice. And I dared not hope that that could happen, 2 years in a row. And when she shows me this extraordinary collection of images, and she did not know how I was thinking at that point, and I said, I want all of them. Just as many as they'll give us, I'll take. And of course, then it all exploded,
And tell us that story we've talked about of the Canadian shell and the circle of
Right.
kneeling figures, and how that first came
Okay.
to you, and what it did, how you reacted.
At that point in the exhibition planning, again, we already had secured a number of Albert Bloch works for the exhibition, and a friend of mine who works in a gallery in the area gave me a phone call, and we were just taking a walk and went out for lunch, and we stopped by this little gallery, and when I walked in, there was the Gestalten figures, the circle of kneeling figures, this magnificent masterpiece by Albert Bloch. And I just had to catch my breath, because I had an immediate response to this painting, which one doesn't always have with everything, but it was in large part due to the composition, the scale, the colors. Everything spoke to me on a very personal level. And began to speak with the person who owned the painting. And shortly thereafter, I called Hollis over and said, found the most wonderful Albert Bloch painting, and it would be perfect for our exhibition. Come take a look at it. And from there, we secured the painting for our show, and we purchased it, and marveled at this, because this was really a great coup for us to have such a work of this magnitude. And we put it on the wall, and it was only about 5 days later that somebody came in, had, I would say, probably a similar response to the painting that I had initially, and just snatched it up right away. And the person who now owns this painting is a brilliant gentleman, an intellectual, and somebody who had not been familiar with Albert Bloch's work before, but understood it deeply and responded to it. And it just is the perfect owner for that piece, because of his deep appreciation for it.
Yeah, and he's now quite an obsessive Albert Bloch collector.
He shares the Bloch
He
passion.
shares the Bloch passion with us, and comes and visits with us, and sits at hours at a time, and we discourse on all the layers of wonderment of Bloch's work.
Now, last night we were talking, and I think it was you, Vivian, who said it's as if the spirit of Albert Bloch is actually here.
Yes.
And obviously, I'm not meaning to suggest a literal spiritual medium going here, but there is a sense of a kind of spiritual presence from his work, and from those who share it and discuss it and embrace it. Can you talk about that just a little bit, just sort of reiterate, kind of what we said last night, and about how you felt, how both of you feel and felt with the lecture, Henry Adams coming, and how you expressed that sentiment. Sentiment is not strong enough word, but you know what I mean. How you expressed that experience.
Yes, the experience of Albert Bloch and the spirituality of Albert Bloch, to me, is extraordinary, because his work is the embodiment of the experience of deeply held emotion, intellectuality, and the ability to work with the two and create this extraordinary synergy. This is what we want to do here at this gallery. We want to incorporate all the limbs, shall we say, of this art historical venture that is our galleries. And when you have like-minded individuals in the scholarly world, as well as in the world of commerce, such as what we do, it's extraordinary because we can fuse the two with the passion. It becomes very easy for us to, shall we say, sell the work to clients. And it's not just anyone. We don't expect everyone to get it. But those that do share an extraordinary link with us, and they become very tied to the work and to the artist and the gallery because of this shared experience. So we bring together, we're really attempting to bring together all these shared experiences and to provide something unique in the American art dealing world.
Go ahead.
In my discussions I've had with Alan Block about this project and in discussing his work, one of the most important things that she mentions is just the ability to kind of look at the pictures, as she calls them. She doesn't even call them paintings, she calls them pictures. She says it's about looking at pictures. And I guess this is kind of a two-tone question. It's both for Stacy and for you, Vivian. And we'll start with you, Vivian. And that is, how do you see Albert Block?
I see Albert Block as, for me, a personal mission, and I think we both agree. I think that Albert Block's importance in the reintroduction and re-evaluation into the world of American modernism, and also in the larger scale, European modernism is fascinating. He's an extraordinary figure that linked both worlds, that gave us extraordinary spiritual as well as intellectual quotient. The paintings are stunning. They give me something that I'm looking for, and a lot of my collectors are looking for, which is depth, historical continuum, meaning, power, and a lot of diversity because of his restless genius. So there's a lot to do. I find him also as a counterpart to Marston Hartley, who has been sanctioned as one of the absolute great artists of this particular field. But when you look at Albert Block, you are completely mesmerized by his ability to search, to produce work which is diverse, which gives something for almost every searching collector in this field. And I am very excited to be able to work with that. And it's something that speaks of also where we are in a much more burgeoning and sophisticated aspect of American modernism. In the larger trends, he is reflecting, in a sense, where people want to be. People also want to look for other avenues of expression, of collection, of meaning, and also of meat, and he has that. Because the Stieglitz Circle, the 291 artists, as great as they are, have been around for a long time, and a lot of books have been written. But for me, the element of discovery is as great, and to be able to have done this along with some of my collectors is just more than I can hope to even ask for. And we have so much of Albert Block that we know we can do this for a very long time to come.
Stacy, how do you see Albert Block?
I see Albert Block as a poet, as a complex and enigmatic figure. He was a great intellectual, somebody fascinated with mysticism, spirituality. When I see his paintings, these are the things that run through my head. Somebody that was able to fuse all of these elements into his paintings, into his works of art, and
It all sounded like the right answer.
Can we break?
ding, ding.
You were doing really good.
Can we break for a minute?
Yes.
I am going.
We got about 10 minutes left on this tape, so we'll just.
All right, we'll be able to finish this segment.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about how you see Albert Block, and you were seeing him as a poet,
Right.
a tremendous intellectual, and a man of great insight.
I do. I think Albert Block, when I see his works and I study them, the poet, the intellectual, the enigmatic, complex man all come together for me in these works. And I think that he really encapsulates what was happening in American modernism and its relationship to Europe in the 20th century. We're very familiar with the School of Paris, and we take France as a paradigm for where American artists were going and what they were looking at and what they were doing in the 20th century and of course in the 19th century. But we often forget that in the 19th century, Dusseldorf in the 1840s and 50s was an art center that rivaled Paris. And Munich, later on in the 70s, 1870s and forward, was also an art center that provided an alternative for American artists. And when Albert Bloch is over there, he is very much part of this environment. He goes over in about 1909 and stays roughly until about 1921. And for me, having his work in this exhibition and this exhibition as a whole has been very enlightening because it has helped me to understand another facet of American modernism, which I think has been greatly underexplored, and that's what's going on between Americans and the Germans. What are we taking from Germany in those years? How are Americans responding to the art that is being created there? The Blau-Reiter groups, the Brücke artists, Kandinsky, Mark, Campendonk, Gabriel Munter. These were all pioneers of their time. And that Albert Bloch was there in those years is fascinating to me because he was not following in their footsteps, but rather walking beside them. And I think that that has been very exciting for myself, for Vivian, and certainly for our viewers to see really what was going on to help to reconstruct that period.
No, I'm sorry.
We're getting a warning light. We're almost out of
Right,
tape,
I'm
so
sorry about that.
let's go ahead and